You're listening to One Non-Blonde, the podcast that goes beyond the surface and digs deeper for the truth around us. I'm your host, Kim. Join me for this weekly podcast where my amazing guests sit down and talk about what's going on in their mind. You might be surprised and always be entertained. Welcome to One Non-Blonde. This is Kim, your host, and today I have got the guy that everybody always goes, I know that guy. I've seen him somewhere. Larry Hankin. Thank you for showing up tonight, or it's not really showing because we kind of lost you on the video, but thank you for coming today to talk to me. How are you doing?
Well, I'm doing fine, except for the internet. The internet is my enemy.
Mine too.
It's just I can't. It is so exact. If you one dot, one letter, one whatever, and it doesn't listen. But anyway,
I know, it doesn't have a brain. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I guess that's the problem. And then when it gets a brain, it's going to be a bigger problem. So fine.
Yeah. It's funny because you can't figure, like today I sent you the Zoom request and I had accidentally hit AIL instead of AOL, and I didn't even realize I did it until I looked back. But you would think they would figure that out. But yet, if I look on a site and see, if I just happen to glance at a purse, all of a sudden I get 20 or 30 purse advertisements all over my news feeds. It's just amazing how they can figure that part out, but they can't figure out AOL. Doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. So I'm really glad that you're here today to talk to me. I'm really excited because I was just starting out this show. In fact, you're only my third guest, so welcome.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all brand new to me. Yeah. So I really want
Third is the hat trick, though.
Yes, I know. 3 is it's the lucky number. So I'm so excited that you're number 3, lucky number 3. And, the thing about the show is I really want it to be more of a conversation and get to know people. So, I can ask you your typical questions, this, that, and their thing. But I just want to get to know Larry Hankin. I want our listeners to know. Oh,
that's going to be really hard. Hankin. Oh, wow. I don't even know Larry Hankin, but let's try.
Maybe today, let's figure something out. So what are you up to today?
Today I'm writing. Today is my writing day. If it gets too noisy, I'll shut the window here. It's out onto the street and there's cars going by. But if you can't hear them, then it's fine. I'm writing now a screenplay for myself. I've been writing film shorts for years and making them, on my own dime. I just go out and get some friends, acting friends or whatever. So now I figure it's time for me to hit the big one, the big picture, the screenplay. So that's what I'm about for the last 2 months. I think I'll be finished in 2 weeks.
Oh, that's good. Well, are you on quarantine? Are you on lockdown where you're at?
Self. I will not. I only go out of the house. I got a mask. I finally got a really cool mask. I can't even tell you where it was sold.
Oh, okay.
They'll well, I guess I can. It's the little mart across the street. It's amazing. New York is, dying for. Literally dying for masks. And I can just go across the street and get a mask. That's weird.
I know. It's just we were just talking about that. I was watching the news before you came on, and it's it's just bizarre how. We're the United States, but yet now we're kind of finding ourselves like little islands, and instead of kind of coming together, and it's kind of scary.
It is a great awakening for the species.
Mm-hmm.
Coronavirus kind of woke up our consciousness of, hey, we're not just humans, we're not just human beings, we're not just Americans, we're a species, just like tigers and dodo birds. And I think 2 of them are on the line and one is gone.
One is gone.
That's what I think.
Oh, I agree.
We're a species. Get used to it, folks.
Yeah, we're not above. In fact, yesterday I wrote a little, I don't usually rant on politics.
Oh, I always. Well, no, not on television. No.
No, yeah, I'll rant to people I know, but I'm not going to rant on a public forum usually.
Exactly. exactly.
So I decided that I was just like, I've had enough. I had just had enough. So I wrote this little, in fact, we're friends on Facebook. So if you find me, you can look at it. But I basically, it was about, like, was that what you're saying? It's the great equalizer. You know, let's wake up. Let's stop doing this and stop doing that. Let's just get down to business and fix this and try to, you know, get people to, you know, realize that there's not one person just because you know, are rich or you're poor or what color your skin or anything. It's like you said, we're a species. It's you know,
a lot of species are exterminated or go extinct because of things like this. Yeah, I think, you know, hubris is finally catching up with the human race.
I think so. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
But when this is all done and we're fine, you know, we'll be able to watch your hopefully get to see your full video. Now, I do like some of your shorts. You know, I was,
cool.
Yeah. And where do you come up with some of your ideas? You know, I know that.
Yeah, I have no idea. I mean, I will sit for, and I've done this for weeks, you know, wondering what the hell am I going to do with my life? I mean, all my ideas are gone. I've done everything I wanted to do, but I hunker down. And I just won't start anything. You know, I'll see friends and stuff like that, but I won't start anything until I get an idea. I mean, I'll sit and wait for one. But and there's a valid reason for it. It's just not like some hyperbolic dream. It's just that I've tried to do what other people want me to do. Like on Facebook, they say, you know, because of my prints, I have a lot of paintings on my Facebook page. A lot of them, hey, why don't you do a picture of? Hey, why don't you do? And man, no. I mean, I don't tell them no, but I'll go, yeah, well, that's a good idea. I'll think about it. It never works. Even if I sit down and try to do it, it's got to come from inside of me. I don't know what the hell that is. That's why I kind of faded out of doing movies and TV, because I was just doing stuff that other people wanted me to do for a nice amount of money, which is a nice motivator. So that's why I would do it. Yeah. But no, money doesn't motivate me that much, frankly. I mean, truthfully, if I don't want to do something, it doesn't matter. Because I'll tell you why. If you said, okay, I'm going to give you $1 million to do this, and I go in my mind, I go, oh God, I don't think I can. I don't think I can do it. And if I don't want to do it too much, I don't think I can do it, because it just won't go in. I mean, it doesn't even go in one ear and out the other. It doesn't even go in one ear. It just kind of bounces off the eardrum. I don't even hear it. I mean, that's the truth. I try to figure out my creative process. I just can't do it. But I know if I don't want to do something, or even if I think I can't do it, like, you know, the scene in Mr. and Mrs. Smith, you know, Brad Pitt and
Angelina Jolie.
Yeah, Angelina Jolie. When they're fighting and they're in this apartment and they're shooting at each other and they're arguing and they're dancing and they're twirling and they're punching. See, now that to me is acting. I can't do that. If you gave me $1 million, I couldn't do that scene. I would. It's beyond, you know, my ability. I mean, so, you know, some people can't jump 10 feet into the air. That would be the same thing for me. So there's some things you can't offer me the money. It's not like, you know, a belief system. It's just, I don't know, somewhere in my DNA. It's my upbringing, man. You know, I had a big what I would say, an argument with my father my entire life. So he wanted me to be a doctor, and here I am doing paintings on Facebook. You know, figure that one out. It's just I have this something, an anti something. I you know, maybe I should go to a psychiatrist. I don't know, but it served me well. That's all I can say. A lot of people don't like that attitude of mine. I mean, there's one guy on my Facebook page who insists I do these paintings. He's always sending me suggestions. Hey, that was really great, the one you put up. Why don't you? And then he'll tell me something, you know, do this or do that. I go, well, thanks for the idea, but nothing ever comes of it. So that's kind of a long answer, but.
No, this is perfect. Cause like I'm listening to you and I'm going, oh my gosh, you are the trifecta of my show, because this is what my show's about: truth and integrity. And I love when you're not going to be something you're not. And that's really what I'm trying to do here, is help people see that you don't have to be something just because somebody makes you or thinks you think that's what you need to do.
Well, yeah, exactly. The revelation about that, if you start to get into what you just said, is that not only don't you have to be what other people want you to be, but you don't have to be what other people have already made you.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big discovery of mine. Holy cow, I'm not going to be what other people have made me into being, which was a sitcom actor, because there's a lot of money and you can, just memorize other people's lines and just go there. But then after a while, the lines got longer and the lines got stupider, and
Mm-hmm.
or the line or the thing got more difficult. For some reason, it wasn't fun anymore. That's the whole point. If I'm not having fun, and I don't mean, laughing and jumping around and dancing, I mean, kind of being comfortable doing it, and enjoying it. I used to enjoy being on stage and being in movies, and then it kind of faded, and I was just going in out of habit, and because other people said you're an actor, and no, I'm not an actor.
Yeah.
I can do what you ask me to do if I think I can do what you ask me to do, and then I'm that. And and then when you ask me to do something, then I'm not that anymore. Oh, I can't do that, or it's not comfortable. It's not fun, whatever you mean by the word fun.
It's that you lose the zest. The passion is just not there.
The passion. That's it. Exactly.
You're talking to emotions. It's like, you could do this with your eyes closed, or like you said, you're just kind of like, I'm walking in. I know what to do. Put me in my spot. I'll regurgitate these lines for you.
Yeah, right. I mean, I've been on sets where I suddenly, in the middle of it, doing it, whatever we're doing, and everything is fine, but I'm just kind of looking at myself, from above and going, mm-hmm. Why am I standing here in this ridiculous outfit? That's when it started. That thought, when it came, said, why? I mean, I don't really like this outfit, but they call it a costume.
Yeah.
But and that's what started me about 5 or 6 years ago, and that thought kept recurring over and over again until finally I got it, what my subconscious was telling me. Basically, Larry, you don't want to be here. Why are you here if you don't want to be here? I go, yeah, right. These little discussions you have with yourself until finally you answer yourself with the truth.
Mm-hmm. I love it, because I think so many people, if you think about that, the pyramid of self-actualization, with psychology, it's like very few people hit the top, because they haven't found out who they are, because they're too busy, like you said, trying to please this person or do what people want them to be. And but for you, when you found that truth, like you said, you kept hearing this inner voice telling you this isn't your truth. That kind of sets you free, doesn't it?
Well, and the other thing, there's one other, there's a couple of triggers. You got to hit all the stations of the cross to get free. Yeah. But I mean, the other one is when I started to get a call from my agent to go do an interview, and I consider it an interruption of my day. And that's when it really started to separate, the separations, the tearing started, I would get, no, wait a minute. I was going to write a film short today, and now I got to memorize these sides and go into an audition. I mean, or I was going to do it tomorrow, and it was an interruption of my day, and that's not a good way to go into your job. No. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a job. I mean, my job is writing this screenplay. That's my job, I mean, it's spec, but it's my job,
Yeah.
and I got to do the best I can. And so for an audition, that's an interruption of my job and my day. So I started to listen to that. I started to listen to my inner, um, you know, I'm I'm an elder person now. My hair is gray. I wouldn't say I'm an old person, but I will admit that I'm older than I was. Okay, so with that in mind, it gives you a certain privilege. I don't have to do this or that unless you do have to do it, and then if I do have to do it, like if I need money and somebody's offering me an acting part, that is I do it because that has nothing to do with. I mean, there are certain things you have to do,
Mm-hmm.
like, take a shower, brush your teeth, wash the dishes. I mean, I don't like to do it, but I do it.
Yeah.
It's. I mean, so that's an outside thing, and sometimes that comes up, and you have to do it. Okay, but then I don't think about why am I, or I don't wanna, or I just do it, man. That's the difference. Just doing it and doing it with hate in your heart. It's like, yeah, it doesn't work that way. Just do it,
Yeah.
There's that part of it too. But I don't know. You have to kind of grow up to, to do the right thing. I think you have to grow up.
Yeah, I
think
think
that's the
so.
bottom line. Just
Yeah.
grow up.
I mean, growing older doesn't mean that, like you said, it automatically comes.
Growing old and growing old are two different things.
Exactly. You've got to grow up, and you could be at any age and growing up thing,
I mean, I see a lot of my friends call me, and they've never been. Can I use the word bitching?
Yeah,
as
sure. We're on the podcast, so go for it.
Well, yeah, but it's not. I'm not calling somebody that. It's a verb.
Yeah, it's a verb.
Yeah, and they call me up, and they've got gray hair, and they're bitching,
mm-hmm.
and I go, instead of bitching, why don't you either not do it or do it and stop bitching?
Yeah,
I mean, it's the bitching thing that's the hole in the logic. It's not the doing. The doing has nothing to do with anything, man. Just do it or not. Oh, that's isn't that Yoda? Do or not do. Yeah, that's Yoda.
That's Yoda.
Oh, that's where I got that from.
Well,
anyway, Yoda's right.
A wise little green guy told you.
Yeah, well, listen to aliens. Don't listen to Homo sapiens. Aliens, I think, I think we got the wrong idea. I think, these spaceships you see going, that people see, these, the sometimes pilots see them.
Yeah.
And the whole deal is, I think they are aliens, and I think that they grok right away. Let's just make a detour around this planet. I don't think they have this shit together. Let's just avoid it. I mean, that's why they're not here. That's why they see it and go, "Whoa, get away from them." Scary.
I actually, one of the things, like, because I'm kind of like with you, Larry. Sometimes I have these things in my head, and I want to put them down, and I don't always get time. So I'm sharing this. So I started this thing in the back of my head. It's like stewardesses in space, and all I can think about.
Say that again.
Stewardesses in space, like
oh yeah,
like a kitschy, like 60s, like as a stewardess, going through all these different planets, and when they get to America, the Earth, they'll be like, what the hell am I here? What is this?
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think that it would be hilarious to do something like that, because I just think, I love that show Ancient Aliens. Could it be, Sergio going on about, these things and that things, and it's almost like, yeah, they left and they got out of this planet pretty quickly.
Right. Well, yeah, I think I think kind of Sergio's take is kind of bullshit, but I understand I get it.
Yeah.
The thing that they left because I don't think they came down here and taught us all that stuff. I think we came up with that. I think we have that in us, that we have the ability to build and invent a pyramid and make it exact and right on. So we have the ability to figure out what we're doing wrong. I'm talking about Homo sapiens. It has nothing to do with politics or nations or flags or
I know.
boundaries.
I agree. No,
That's
I agree.
bull. But I do believe that if there are aliens, they would grok right away that no, just don't go near them, man. They don't have their shit together. They don't know what they're doing. And they'll probably be gone in, 5,000 years or so. I mean, it's they're like dodo birds, they're like tigers. They're going to be gone. Only we're killing the tigers and the elephants and all the other stuff.
I know. It just amazes me because I think, again, we're back to the situation where we think that we are the superior being.
Exactly.
That we're not.
My point exactly. Thank you.
I know. We're not of the, if instead of being good stewards of the earth,
exactly.
The earth is everything.
I wonder how many people think that.
No.
Do you think a lot? And they won't say it?
It's hard to say. I think that sometimes you have to, when you start talking about it, people are kind of like, oh, no, this is my, no, we've got to be responsible for everything. And then I work with
stewards. Just do the right thing. That's all.
I work with kids. And I did this one project with them. This was years ago. I took some lima beans and I made that their currency. And as they walked in to the room, I was giving out different amounts of lima beans to people. So there was not like there was no rhyme or reason. It wasn't like, you look this way or that way. You just kind of picked up a random bag of lima beans. And then they had to go around and they had to find a place to live and they had to, survive, basic survival things. Yeah. And they only had so many, lima beans to do this when there was prices. And then I had people who were the volunteers who, when they would go around to try to purchase something and they didn't have enough, they would have to do like meaningless tasks or something that might've been like,
was there a bank? Could they borrow beans?
They could, but it was hard because if they didn't have any kind of collateral, kind of like, so it was kind of like worldview, right?
Reality.
It's reality check. And so as the evening went on, some of the kids got real creative and they collaborated and they got together and they built a little city and some people, and then there's a couple of kids who stole, and they were put in jail because of stealing because they didn't have any beans. And, it was
life and life only.
It was really, and then this one kid, I'll never forget, and then I think you'd appreciate this. This one kid, this one group of kids, they're like, oh, well, we had all these beans and I built this big mansion and I did this and I did that. And, he's like, they were so proud of themselves because they had built this big thing and they had all these wealth. It was all wealth. It was nothing.
And then did they have enough beans to build a wall around it?
Pretty much. Yeah, that's where he was trying to go with. But here's the best part. Then this one kid says, I only had one bean, so I had a piece enough to buy a piece of cardboard, which I ended up sleeping outside of your lawn. This is what he's telling me. And he goes, and I used your backyard as my toilet. And
whoa!
And I said
exactly.
I said that's what I'm talking about. No matter what kind of wealth you think you've built up, there's always going to be somebody pooping in your backyard or something. We've got to think about it. Our backyard is not just our boundary of where our fence goes.
Right.
We've got, and so it was such a worldview thing. It was like a bunch of 14-year-olds. And
wow. Wow. Great.
I created that whole thing myself. Wasn't that awesome? But I love doing things like that because I think I love to do that with a bunch of adults. It's like, can you please see what's going on?
Yeah, exactly. Please. Begging.
Our world problems is like, something across the continent, across the ocean, still going to affect us. We're seeing that right now, right?
Right. I mean, but see, the weird thing about all this quote unquote truth or reality is I was talking to my sister the other day and she totally disagrees with me and what you're saying. I mean, and there's nothing I can do to change her mind. I mean, I tried. I mean, not very hard because she's my sister. We don't, but she's very intelligent. In other words, we don't argue about things. She says, and we don't even talk over one another. She'll say her thing and then I'll say my thing and then blah, blah, blah. Just like a real conversation. But there's no meeting of the minds at all on this one subject. And, it all gets down to politics, religion, all the stuff that people argue about.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why those topics are. It's just weird because the Homo sapiens thing has nothing to do with politics or flags or boundaries. I mean,
I
there's
agree.
a larger thing, going on. And then here's the other thing. When I say Homo sapiens, that's what I mean. I don't relate to humans anymore. I mean that word. I don't use that word. I use Homo sapiens instead of human beings or humans. But I do think that we are Homo sapiens, but I don't think we're human beings yet. And I don't know if we're going to make it's like, I think now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we are the youngest species on this planet.
I think we are pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. Nobody says anything about that. Well, a lot of species have been here longer and been extinct. The dinosaurs, T-Rex, had pea brains. They had brains smaller than a cat's brain, or about maybe a cat's brain, about that size. They were huge animals. And before the big event hit, that big meteor hit and just put them in one day extinction, they were here on this planet for 97 million years with a pea brain the size of a cat. And we have been here with our big brain for 350,000 years only. So what the fuck do we know about surviving? And the way we are the stewards, your words, of this planet, we're not going to be here for 97 million years or a couple of more years, even the way it's going. We don't think about every animal is born with a survival mechanism about how many kittens to have, how many acres you need, what to eat and where to get it. And I don't know. I just don't, that I don't understand. With the big brain, to me, the picture, the image is a little baby crawling into an up to the minute kitchen with sharp knives and razor blades all over the place, and cutting things and meat slicers, and we're just a little 5 or 6 year old kid. Just we're gonna play in this universe.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm just being a little, too far out. But in other words, it's going in that direction. That's all. Are we ranting? Are we ranting on the radio?
I don't think so. I think we're supposed to be
We're just exploring. We're just exploring more than a week ahead.
Yeah.
That's, but yeah, anyway, that's kind of where I think it's at.
So Larry, I've just got to ask you a really quick question. Have you ever had an interview like this before?
No, but this is how we talk among my friends.
That's what I wanted to be.
Intelligent people, you just, because what else is there to talk about?
Yeah.
I mean, politics, and the coronavirus and the doctor. And I mean, that's other ordinary stuff. But I consider what we're talking about trivia, just like talking about, my feet hurt. I mean, it's just connection, conversation, and ideas. I just read this, on the internet as somebody posted it. Einstein said that imagination and creativity is far more important than intelligence. So that's what we're talking about. That's what I'm talking about. That's what
I agree.
Point of all this stuff is.
I agree. And then,
just,
if we don't have that, if we don't have creativity, nothing else.
Well, that's what your class was about.
Yeah.
Creativity, that's I think we don't talk creatively enough. I don't think. On the other hand, now here's the opposite, which I still believe. Me and the Bible, we constantly anti-quote one another. Itself is that the Bible has one quote, and then it has another quote which completely is the opposite of the quote on another page. So that, well, I forgot my point. See, there you go. Talking too much, you forget your point. All right, let's talk about something else.
We'll talk about something else. So art. I know you have your art. So when you're working on a piece, which you don't want somebody telling you what to do, where do you come up with some of your ideas? Because I look at some of your pieces and they're just like so, and they're just like there's just like there's something about them that is very unique and but they're always the same, but yet they're very different. Does that make sense? Like I could tell when I see something, I know it's a Larry Hankin.
I just had something on my Facebook page where some woman said, your artwork is very unique, is it not? And my said, what was my answer? No, it's not. Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
My point is to you, what you just said. Yes, it is unique or different, or you can tell. Where does it come from? Actually, I can tell you exactly where it comes from, although I don't know how I got there. What I was doing while all those paintings came within a 2-year period where I had a lot of time on my hands in the afternoons. And so I would go to a coffee house and I would read the paper from, newspaper. Like I live in LA, so I read the LA Times from cover to cover. I'd read every section, some I'd scan, some I just looking for trivial stuff. Just something to stimulate my thinking. That was all. Not for any reason, not looking for something to write. I was just looking for information, just to store it up for later. And I would come across, every once in a while, I would come across a very interesting picture, sometimes a statement, but most of the time it was a photo in a newspaper, any kind of news photo. And there would be something within the photo that said to me, you got to draw this right now. And it may not be the entire picture, not the entire photo. It may be somebody's face or a hand gesture, or generally it was a human thing, not an object. Or a line of an arm or something. And I would, somewhere on the same page, but where there's printing, not another picture, I would start to draw. And I've been drawing all my life. I went to art school, so I can draw. I'm a pretty good graphic artist. So I would start to draw that thing, that line. The thing is, one of the most obvious things to me that always gets my attention is in any painting, and even when you look at a boat, like a rowboat, a painting of a rowboat, a picture of a rowboat, or even a real rowboat, the gunwales. You know what the gunwales are? It's where you put the oarlocks in. It's the top of the side of the boat. It's called gunwale. Yeah. Top of the side of the boat. Okay, well, if you look at a certain angle down the gunwale from the back of the boat, the back of the boat is flat. That's where you put the motor. The gunwale goes all the way down, all the way up to the front of the boat where it comes together with the other side, into a V like that. Okay, that line, that one line of that gunwale, that one line always catches my attention. I don't know what it is about that line, but it's a beautiful curved line. Just a line of the gun. And I will, if I see a boat in a picture, I'll start with that line. And I'll keep going until making lines, like drawing the boat is what I'm doing. But until I get bored with making lines, I went till the drawing is finished. And sometimes I only draw the boat, sometimes I draw the boat in the dock, and sometimes I draw somebody in it. It's the same thing with an arm. Sometimes an arm has a line that I'll start with. And if I can capture that line exactly like that, then I'll finish the drawing. But it's just still on a newspaper. And if you look at my paintings, they're all on newspaper. Because what I do is I cut out the drawing very big. I give a lot of space. And then I put it in my computer. And then I paint on that. But the rule of my uniqueness in my paintings, if you capture it, if you get it, is that I will not destroy the original drawing or the original line. You may not find it in there. It's like looking for Waldo, but it's still there, and I don't touch the original pen to paper. So that's why you see the print through it. It's because I'm trying to preserve the drawing under the painting. So you see two things at the same time. You see a painting and you see a drawing, and you see where the painting came from, and you see the drawing underneath, because both are valid. And the other thing is a long explanation, but you asked me, so I'm telling you, is
what I'm here for.
doodles. I think it came from, I was looking at a Rembrandt, his drawings. What he did was he uses, he didn't have pencils. He didn't have pencils in there, and they couldn't get the lead in the wood. They couldn't figure that out. Mm-hmm. So what they did was they had a piece of wood with a sharp point, kind of a round point or a sharp point. And he would draw by having this red ink, a mixture that he made. And he would dip the point of the piece of wood, the quote unquote pencil with no lead in it, dip the point of the wood into the ink, this red ink, and make drawings with it. So all his drawings are in red ink, and that's how he drew. But if you look at the side of the drawings, you know, he draw these people in Arabian costumes and biblical costumes and stuff. But if you look at the people on the side, as the drawing fades out, you know, where he started to get disinterested, mm-hmm. He'll just draw like a little face and put two little dots and a nose and a little mouth, and you just bump, 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 you know, 4 little dots in a round circle for the face, and then a little, but they're so exact and so beautiful and perfectly face. It's not bump, 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 bump. He's got a control of that point where when he goes bump, bump, it's 2 eyes, and it looks like 2 eyes, not 2 dots. And the nose looks like a nose, and the mouth looks like a mouth, and the face. But they're thrown away. They're at the edge of the painting. You hardly see it. And I liken them to doodles of people, you know, doodling at the edge of their books and stuff. And I started to see a lot of doodles of Picasso's. He would sign checks with a doodle, you know, because it was worth money. Yeah. And the waiter would take it. So all those, and I started to revere people's doodles. And then I saw Basquiat's paintings. You know, Basquiat from New York, you know, died of an overdose. He was Andy Warhol's friend. He died of an overdose at like, I don't know, 22 or something. But his paintings, these huge paintings, you know, wall paintings, were basically doodles, but on a large scale, and just these great paintings. Basquiat, you got to just check him out. He's amazing.
Wait, how you spell that? You know, B.
So all those. The doodles of people, just ordinary people, and Basquiat and Picasso and Rembrandt, and me just drawing these doodles, but you know, really cool. I try to make them really good, and then me putting it into, and that's where the uniqueness come from. Now I don't try to be unique. It was just these rules that I made up for myself.
Yeah.
And then you get this painting. So I mean, I don't know. Does it make sense or not? But that's how
it makes perfect sense. Because when you were talking,
that's how you get my painting.
Yeah, and that's why I think for me, I think that's what I like about him too. Because like I look at something like if it's something speaks to me, and that's where it is. It's like,
well, yeah. Here's the other thing that I'll always thank a guy who's a friend of mine, a really cool guy named Bobby Newirth. Bobby Newirth told me he was. I was listening to a conversation he had with somebody else because he likes jazz. He's an artist, and he plays guitar, and he's a songwriter. He's a great songwriter. I like his music. And he's a painter. And he was talking to somebody about, he's like, hey, have you seen Cozy Cole? He's down at the 5 spot. He's playing. I don't know if it was Cozy Cole, but it was some really cool jazz player. Maybe it was Thelonious Monk. And so he said, he's playing down at 5 spot. Are you going to go see him? This was in New York. And Bobby said, no, I've heard him. And the guy says, yeah, but this is in person. It's, you know, it's Thelonious Monk. I mean, I thought you loved Thelonious. And he goes, yeah, but what is he saying? Is he saying anything? I mean, you know, the last time I heard him, he wasn't saying anything. And I just, that conversation just stuck in my head. So every time I do something, whether it's just a painting, you know, that I say, well, it's finished, I'm going to put it up on the internet, or it's a screenplay. do I have anything to say? I mean, why would I bother anybody with this if I don't have something to say? So I try to make it important to me. At least I'm saying something. Yeah, I'm making a statement with these things about, no, I want to show the underlying, where the idea for the painting came from, but I want you to see it. I'm saying something. I mean,
Yeah.
in each painting. And I don't paint something if I'm looking at it after a while, even if I say it's finished and I look at it and I go, yeah, but it's not saying anything. And that's kind of, and it's just from that one conversation I heard from Bobby Newirth maybe 15, 20 years ago on the street in New York.
I agree.
That's the rule.
I agree. Because that's like, for me, I started this podcast and it's like, well, anybody,
exactly. Yeah, what you're trying to say something.
I want to say something.
Yeah, exactly. That's all. I mean,
that's what like I said, when I was trying to do this, I'm very blessed that I've had opportunities to talk to some, people who are famous, you being one of them. Thank you. But I don't want it to just be the same old. I really want, people have stories and people have ideas, and people have lives that are beyond just what my personification of you, like, oh, it's Larry Hankin, he's funny. Larry Hankin, oh, he's this, no, that's not what I want. I want people to say, wow, I'm hearing something different. I 'cause I want to have a message for people. I want people to get to know me, get to know you, get to know the people.
Okay. Can I just say one thing about message? Mm-hmm. The way you just said the word message. Okay. In my mind, there's a difference between having something to say and a message. One is conversation and the other is preaching to me. Mm-hmm. So I think you have something to say, but I'm not getting, you're not preaching anything.
No, I don't want to be a preaching. No, I don't.
Yeah. But the classroom thing, you had something to say there. That was kind of cool. But it wasn't preaching to anything or anybody. It was just, hey, this is reality, kids. They learned something without you saying anything, but let's play this game now.
Yeah. That's what I try to do.
It was very revealing. Yeah. I don't know. But it's very hard to, avoid preaching, mm-hmm. Because you just, and what was the word we used?
Stewardship.
Say that again.
Stewardship, being good stewards.
Oh, no, it's about preaching, ranting.
Ranting. We were ranting. Yeah, we're not ranting.
Yeah. I mean, ranting is more preaching, but you're doing it because you have something to say, but it's just putting it in a bad context. Ranting is in your face kind of thing. When you have something to say, it's not in your face. It's not, you don't even know you're being, that the other guy's saying something or the other person is saying something.
I want it to be like a conversation. I just want people to go, oh, wow, I can relate. I want to be a part of that conversation. That's what I want.
Yeah.
I wanted somebody to go, hey, hey, Kim, I'd like to just have a conversation with you because I just love talking to people. I really do. And, that's my goal.
Do you have conversation? Do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend or
my husband? Yeah.
Or your husband that you can talk to?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's really important. But I have 2 or 3 friends, but that's it.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 friends where I can have a conversation with something to say that doesn't impinge on anything in the outside world. We're just talking about this now, when we're talking about the future, and being stewards. That's just a conversation for now. I mean, I'm not going to go out and start preaching to the world about being a steward, but it is an important thing, and it's something to say. But if you start preaching, everybody just shuts off. I agree. How important.
I know. I think it's just, I just want to be, I think that's what my podcast I'm trying to do is just be like it's like you're hanging out with a friend, Yeah. And that's what I want.
I don't know I guess some people can be, you can reduce anybody to that. Mm-hmm. I watched this, Off Camera. Have you ever seen that?
No, I haven't seen that.
I don't know where it's on. It's on TV. It's on. I don't know. It's on TV. I don't know. It's off camera. It's on a lot of things. But basically, it's a conversation on television. It's an interview show, but it's just two people talking in two chairs, and they just talking. And it's about show business, and it's about actors. He interviews actors, and that's why I watch it. You know, I get some acting information and stuff from it, from other actors. But basically, it's just conversation. It's just really good conversation. So it's kind of like your show. And it's different. I mean, the guy the interviewer just wants to know what's in the other person's head. I mean, sometimes he'll start it off by talking about what he was in or what it was like to be in that movie. But mainly it's conversation, but it's intelligent conversation, you know? It's informative. But it just kind of, there's a flow to it, you know? Yeah, the flow, that's the thing, you know, that's the great thing about rap is the flow. If you don't have the flow, forget it.
Oh, forget it.
I want to hear it. It's the flow that does it, man. It's the same thing with music, I guess.
I know. I love music. Do you play any instrument or do you?
Well, yeah, finally. I mean, I finally got around to, I play guitar, I write music, you know, but it soothes me. You know, in the middle, you know, I sit down, you're not supposed to sit too long typing, you know. Not good to say. So my break is I just get up and walk around because of the coronavirus and I go out too much. I do ride my bike and walk around the block and stuff, but I'll just get up and stand and walk around the apartment and play my guitar. And it's great. It's totally different than words. It's just music and it just, it relaxes me. And so I can, you know, do that for about a half hour and then, you know, maybe walk around or something and then go back and write. And I'm all clear and I can go back to it. So it's therapeutic for me. And I also think it makes me smarter.
Oh yeah. Music is
the other thing, you know, it's like, what is it? DHA or something. There's some vitamins that are good for your brain, you know, I don't know. Vitamin B, vitamin whatever. Well, it's the same thing with learning new things. Learning a language, learning music. So I learned the guitar and son of a gun, it really helps me because I'm dyslexic. So that was one of the reasons why I don't like learning other people's lines. It's about 50 times harder for me to learn other people's lines than for me to learn my own lines and let other people learn my lines that I wrote. And I'll learn mine and I can do that fairly easily. But I've been learning the guitar now for 2 years. So, you know, I'm kind of okay with it. I can play along with somebody. But though I learned music to that point, no, my ability to my dyslexia has gone away a bit.
That's good.
Not a bit, a lot.
That's good.
Since then, so it does help. But learning a language, anything new. You know, they say, you know, about doing puzzles, crossword puzzles. Well, that's like a quick fix, and it does work. But if you learn something really meaty, it's way better than doing crosswords.
Oh, I think so. Yeah, because we're really working that muscle because I think
it's muscles. It's all muscle. Even the neurons are muscle. I mean,
they are. I mean, really,
do it a lot, it grows.
Yeah,
and it's the only thing I think where the more you use it, the more you have.
I agree.
Brains. The more you use it, the more you have. It's the only thing that doesn't wear away.
Yeah. And if I sometimes I think it's like we're even at the tip of the iceberg on it. I mean, we really don't tap
1/10 is I think there's a figure 1/10 of your brain you're using.
Yeah, we're not even tapping in completely.
Well, I think creativity taps into at least another 5%.
I think so too. I agree. I
think my paintings are way smarter than I am. Way smarter than I am.
Yeah.
That's another thing that a friend of mine. I mean, these random things that people say in conversation and they stick with you for years, and it's just a sentence. Another thing, Carl Gottlieb, who's a friend of mine, he wrote Jaws, all the Jaws movies.
Yeah.
So we grew up together and we went to college together. We were roommates, and I see him once a month maybe now. But we said this a long time ago, I think in the 60s. We said no artist, and I think he was thinking about genius, but no artist is as hip as his work.
Mm.
Because we would always talk about, hey, I met blah, blah, blah. All along our years together, we go, hey, I met blah, blah, blah. And that great artist? Yeah. Man, he's as thick as a brick, man. The guy's stupid.
Yeah.
Really? No, I'm serious, man. I mean, somebody said that about Gielgud. So, he's a genius. He is a genius at Shakespeare, and acting and writing and performing. But you talk to him and he's as thick as a brick. That's what they said. I mean, no, the guy's stupid. No, come on, man. I mean, but he's a genius. Oh, no, yeah. No, totally, man. But I mean, on certain other subjects, he has no idea what you're talking about.
He's clueless.
Clueless. There you go.
I think that's like,
clueless. Yes.
I think that's one of the biggest things is like one of the great things about, a good college education and a really great, well-rounded college education is because you've got to be able to know something other than just math.
Yes.
And something, have to have a conversation,
Exactly, man. No, that's the nitty gritty now. That's the whole thing about Homo sapiens and all that. Yeah, yes. It's, oh man.
You could just talk about this one thing. It's like, no, there's more to the world than that. Come on.
Exactly. Yeah. And some people just like the people in certain parts of the country. Yeah. They do know a lot about some things.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they're geniuses. Some, people around, and then all of a sudden they go off the deep end. The tracks just stop in the middle of a desert. It's just, what happened? Just why did they stop building? Oh no. Well, we went as far as we wanted to go. We got hungry, and so we turned around and went back.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I didn't get past this part. And that's what I like about, like for me, I feel like it's really important. That's what that was kind of like my little exercise with the kids is like, you've got to, you can't just rely on just what I know and what we need to put it together to create.
Yeah, exactly.
Make a new thing. It better.
Well, make it better or make it new.
Make it something.
Make it something else.
Yeah, please. I mean, if you do the same thing over again, it's not kind of like the total definition of stupidity, and
it's just not putting the clues together to get one of the signs of a healthy mentality is pattern recognition.
Mm-hmm.
And the more patterns you can recognize, small or large, I mean, the better I think you are, just grok-wise. Do you know what? I don't know. Did they use grok? I mean, do you know what grok means? It's an ancient word. I don't know if people know about it. Grok, I loved it. See, there's a word that I just picked up years and years ago in my youth. When I was about 18 or 19, I was reading. I think it was the green grass of Earth. I don't know, maybe it was Asimov. It was a science fiction book, but very popular then. Still a bestseller, but not many people read it. It's so old. But it was talking about a Martian who grew up on Earth. He came here, was left here, and he grew up on Earthing. I mean, he looks like a normal human being, kind of. But he keeps to himself because he's an alien. But he's very smart, and he's much smarter than us. And the only thing he likes, the only thing about Earth that he likes is walking on grass, because it's the only thing that's totally forgiving. That you just walk on it, and the grass, he can understand grass. And it says, yeah, that's what I'm here for. You lay on me, walk on me. I am human's carpet. So he says he can understand that. And everything else, this Martian. He can't understand human beings. Why aren't they like grass? Why don't they accept more? So anyway, he called that information that he called that grokking, and basically it's Martian for understanding in a very large way.
Oh,
getting the huge pattern, the huge big pattern. Okay, so that is kind of like. Something else I remember, which is that our reach is, maybe you can help me with this. It's a famous quote. Our reach is beyond our grasp, or something like that. Is that, or our reach is beyond, our grasp is beyond our, no, our grasp is, we can reach very far. It's just that we can't grab onto it. That's what that means.
Our grasp exceeds our your reach.
Yeah, something like that. It's a famous quote. I can't get it right, but I understand what it means. It means that, and this is what a scientist once told me. He said, the problem is, he was talking about psychologically. Our problem is that our curiosity far outstrips our intelligence. So that's why he explained why we're not good stewards of the earth. We're experimenting so much and we don't understand unintended consequences. We haven't grasped that yet. And our stewardship of the earth is because this is all unintended consequences. We didn't mean to poison the water with mercury or the fish. We didn't mean to do it. We don't mean to do any of this bull crap that we're doing, but we just have no concept of the future, of unintended consequences. If you do that, boom, if you don't give, if the president doesn't give people masks because he wants to save money, people die. That's an unintended consequences to some people.
Yeah, I agree. And it's like, I don't know about you, but if I read a lot of American literature from the 1800s, 1900s, when you're listening and you're reading and they're talking about this land and how rich and how beautiful, and then you look and you think, oh my gosh, look what we've done in less than 100 years, 150 years to this country. What we've done to this earth, not just our country, but just our earth in general. It's like, it's just so sad. And again, it's like we want to build, do you ever watch the Smithsonian? They're talking about the waterways and about how, I think they said 75 or 80% of most of the houses that are, and the waterways, how we have waterfront property in the United States, it's really not even real waterfront property. It's man-made waterfront property in order for houses to be built around, like all those little peninsulas and all those little things. It's all been man-made so that people can live on the water.
Right.
It just blows my mind. It just blows my mind.
Say that again.
I said it just blows my mind that the people just don't even think about what they've done to this, what they've done to the natural.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering about when the oceans come up about 3 or 4 feet.
Oh yeah.
Oceanfront property.
Underwater
I'm thinking. Yeah, I mean, and the farmers who are trying to grow great crops, putting poison on the earth and figuring, and then they drain it into the canals and the people's waterfront property, and and then all the animals. I mean, unintended consequences. Think it through, folks. Our ability and curiosity and inventiveness is far outstripping our intelligence about, but that's going to be the end of civilization.
Yes. Yeah, but I hope, just speaking of crazy animals, I hope you don't hear my dog in the background.
No.
Okay, good.
I can't hear you over the traffic that I hear outside.
Oh, okay, because my dog is like, I was joking. I said, this puppy's going to kill my podcasting career because she's always trying to overmodulate on me. So, she wants my attention. So she's outside the door crying.
Too bad. This is life, dog.
Yes,
I know. This is how it is.
I know
what it is, kid.
Yes, Larry, you've been an amazing guest. I hope you come back again. And
just invite me. I'm here.
Oh, good. I'm excited, and I know we're connected on Facebook, and I'm sure you have thousands and thousands and thousands of people. But check me out, because I'd like to us have some conversations, because I really enjoyed our conversation today. I hope you did.
Me too. But I like this. But the other thing is, no, I don't do this on Facebook. I only do it person to person, talking or on a video. A typing is between my ADHD and dyslexia. Typing is just it's hard enough for me to type my screenplay, but to type conversation is impossible.
Well, I have your number. You have my number. We can have these
yeah,
conversations if you don't mind, because I love this. It was
no,
fun.
no. I mean, I had a great time.
I love having
cool.
intelligent conversations with people, and sometimes you can't find people you can have these kind of conversations with. So,
well, some people don't have conversations; they only have trivia and ranting.
Some people don't have intelligence. I hate to say that.
Yeah, no, they have it. It's just been knocked down inside and cut off. It's there somewhere.
You can find it.
Sometimes it's too hard to work. But one time I set out to find that, and I found it, but it was at a great cost. I went into a bar, and I wanted to see. I said, everybody has a story. This is really quick. I know you're trying to get up the air.
Oh, no. You're good. I just want to make sure, because I know you said you were kind of busy, so I want to make sure.
Well, I want to get back to my writing, but I did go into a bar, and I swore, because we were talking about, in conversation, we were talking about everybody has a story that really will blow your mind if you can talk to them long enough and get through their trivia and bullshit and preaching, etc. So I decided to do that, and I went into a bar. And I said, I'm going to talk to somebody. I'll just pick out a random person. I'm going to talk to them until they blow my mind. I don't care how long it takes or how many beers it takes. And I just sat down next to this guy, and I started talking to him. I was buying him beers, and we were both getting drunk as hell. Well, no, not really drunk. Not drunk as hell, but loose, really loose. But I kept in mind, and I want him to blow my mind with a real story. And finally he did it. I got it. It took him two hours and a lot of beers. He was an alcoholic to begin with, I discovered, which kind of just weird. But he blew my mind, and it's a long story. But I finally did it, and I was convinced, okay, everybody has a story, man, that'll blow your mind. But, they bury it. Anyway, I got to get back to writing. It was
a pleasure.
It was a great talking to you. Really was.
Great talking to you too, Larry. Thank you so much. And I will talk to you soon. Next time,
great. Hopefully.
Next time you get on, maybe we'll come up with it. We'll come up with a subject. And
always. There's only subjects to converse about. There's very few things to argue or preach about.
Oh no, it's just having conversation, because it's fun. Just having opportunities to hear other people's side of how they feel. Yeah. You have all these different perspectives, because my life story, like you said, is different than your life story. And
boy.
So that way we can kind of come together and share and get to know. And
anyway, I get stories, and I get smarter.
Yeah.
So
that's how I look at it.
Carry on. Okay. Rock on.
You too. God bless. Bye.
Kim, right?
Kim. Yeah. Don't forget May.
Oh, listen, I got dyslexia, man. I forget,
Nick,
my girlfriend's name.
Nick. Just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.